How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast. We work together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build a positive mindset. My name is Henry, and in this episode, we're going to talk about what steps you need to take if you want to live a positive and fulfilling life. If you are feeling like you just don't know what to do, or you're lost, or your life doesn't have the feeling that you thought it would, then this is going to be the episode for you, because we're going to break down that process and look at a perspective that will lead you to being fulfilled and satisfied with each and every day. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So we're going to pick a word. It can be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say that word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And then once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. All right, well, we're going to do another deep breath. This one is about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so that we can receive the message that we need to hear today to get us in that positive perspective. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And then once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. So this is going to be an interesting topic. It's something I've been working through in my head today, and I'm going to work through it in this podcast. Like the way I'm going to break it down is the way that I'm understanding it at this moment. So hopefully it's perspective that we can just take in together and hopefully give us that positive focus that we're looking for. But before we dive into it, here's a quick word from today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and help you learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. I've used therapy personally for a few different things, and one of the best benefits is perspective. You know, in this podcast, I talk about positive perspective, really helping you see the entirety of a situation, and working with a therapist, they can provide that and then help you with coping skills and self-empowerment to deal with the trauma, the pain, the hurt, whatever it is that you're trying to overcome. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's really affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match you with a therapist, and if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist at any time. You can learn more and save 10% off your first month by clicking the link below or going to betterhelp.com/mindset. That's BETTERHELP.com/mindset. So what I was thinking about is, what is the point? Like, what is the point of this experience? Because a lot of times, at least for me, I start thinking about like my life, like my kids, my family, my wife. Like I think about my job, like all these things that are my life that make me, my health, my fitness. And it's like, you know, we're living this experience and that's what we associate with. And sometimes that can get really down. Sometimes we get lost and we don't even feel like, you know, there's a point to it. It just seems monotonous. Like it's every single day, the same routine. You wake up, you get the kids to school, you go to work, you exercise, you get home, you get the kids to bed, and then before you know it, you go to bed, and then you wake up and do the same thing. It's like this monotonous thing, and it doesn't feel all the time. At least that's my experience. There's not feeling at all times for it, of like just this experience that I feel like we're supposed to be having. And so I was reflecting on this perspective, and it really just aligned on my purpose and what I want to do. If you've listened for a while, I've shared that my goal is to, help raise people's vibration. I want people to operate in the love frequency. That's the goal of this podcast. And so I was thinking about what that is and what are the most important things that we need to do that. And what came to me is the points of focus. Like, what should we be focused on? And part of it is what we take in. Everything that we consume, whether it's food, whether it's entertainment, it's information, it's experience, whatever it is, everything that we take in matters, and we need to be paying attention to that. Everything we put out matters. We need to pay attention to that. And then the actions that we're doing every single day. Those are the only things that actually affect our energy. Everything else is part of the experience. The time with your friends, the time with the family, the adventures, the trips, like all those things. Those are experience, but that's not our mission and what we're supposed to be clearly focusing on. At least this is my understanding at this point. You see, everything you're taking in is affecting your frequency. So if you want to raise your frequency, if you want to be high vibrational, you have to think about what you're taking in. What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Like all of those things have to align with the energy that you want. You have to fill your cup up. The next part is what you're putting out into the world. You can't put out, at least for an extended period of time, something different than you're bringing in. We can fake it, and we see it with the internet. I mean, that's helped a lot, where a lot of people are faking, but eventually they're going to run out. And they may not run out on a material sense. There's lots of people that have made success out of nothing. They faked it. They were scammers or, whatever you want to call it. That can happen. But I'm talking about your internal energy, what matters more than this material existence. So when we start focusing on what we're bringing in and start focusing on what we're putting out, that is how you affect your frequency. What comes in and what comes out is the energy that you're in. The last piece is your actions. What actions are you doing to maintain that frequency? You see, actions only exist in this material world, at least my understanding of it. And, maybe I'll understand it in a different way in the future. But actions are, what are we doing with our body? How are we taking in this information? How are you giving out the information? How do you conduct yourself at all times? Those are the three things that matter the most. What we take in, how we conduct ourselves, and what we give to the world. When we start making those our primary focuses, it takes away from self. It takes away from the ego. And it's this hard shift, at least for me, this hard shift in something I'm working on, becoming someone that is just absorbed with those three things, enjoying the experience, meaning always showing love and gratitude for the experience, but not making my purpose the experience. Meaning my goal isn't to drive the nicest car in the world and be happy because I got to do it. I would love to drive the nicest car in the world and be happy as I'm doing it, but that's not the goal. The goal is to do the three things. What am I taking in? How am I conducting myself? And then what am I giving the world? The experience will happen as it happens. The guidance from doing those three things will take me on the experience I want to go on. It will take you on the journey that you're supposed to be going on. If we stop worrying about what other people think about us, what we think about us, our situation in life, our status, our health, like if we stopped worrying about all of those things that exist in this material life and only focus on what do we consume, what do we give, and then what actions are we doing every day? The actions are the gratitude. So how we conduct ourselves in life is showing gratitude. Whether the actions are thoughts, I would consider those actions, or physical actions, like did you do something good for your body? Did you clean your surroundings? Did you make where you went better than it was when you were there? Those are gratitude actions. Consuming, what did you consume today? And we don't think about this a lot. There's the intentional consumption, like listening to this podcast, reading an uplifting book, or, those type of things, eating healthy food, that's intentional. But how much unintentional consumption are we around and we're allowing in our system? Whether it's music that's playing that we're not really paying attention to, but that's there. Maybe you put on the radio, maybe you watch a certain show and it's for enjoyment. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things. I'm just saying that those things are experience and not our mission. Everything here, it's like this earth was created and it has to exist. So the earth is happening and some people come here and they love the earth. That's their focus. That's their driving motivation. They may be happy, they may not be, but nothing on this earth you take with you and nothing on this earth will fill your soul. If your heart hurts, if you're empty within, there is nothing here that can fulfill it. The only thing that can truly fulfill it is focusing on your consumption, what you're expanding, like what you're giving to the world, and then your daily actions, how you're conducting yourself. And when we start making that shift, we will become extremely at peace. We will have this fulfillment from within that no one can take from you, that nothing can shake, that nothing can break. And that's the ultimate goal. I believe that's our focus in life. That's why we're tuned in. All of us that are connected right now, me, you, I believe we're on the same journey. And I believe it because the interactions we have, when we message back and forth, it's like we're all on the same journey on different planes. We're all going through different hills. We're all going through different struggles, different mountains to climb, but we're looking for the same thing. We're looking for that high vibration. We're looking to be the best version of ourselves. We're looking for that inner peace because we know that's the journey. And if we're looking for it, I believe we're the first movers. We are going to become the example and give that to other people. It's not forcing anybody to do anything. It's living a certain example that will hopefully inspire others to go down the road that you're going. And so if you feel lost, if you don't feel fulfilled, think about that. Do you pay attention to what you're consuming? Like truly pay attention to it. Like hold it to a high standard. Could you hold it to an even higher standard? The same goes for your actions and then what you're putting out. And putting out is what you say, how you treat people, how you dress, like all of those things. The presentation that you give the world is what you put out. I know that has given me a huge change in my perspective, and it might just be the position that I'm in right now, trying to focus and figure out what's the next thing for 2023. But that's what I want to help people do. I want to help people with those three things. The way I can do it is by learning to be the example. The way you can do it is learning to be the example. And then imagine how freeing it would be to not need anything external, to not need the promotion, to not need the recognition, to not need the awards, to not need, everything else that people think they need that makes them happy. Doesn't mean you can't have those things. I want you to have them, but I want you to have them and your highest self. The you that you bring there heals everybody. That's what I want for you. And hopefully that's what you want for you too. Like, of course we should be successful. We should be the leaders of the world. Why wouldn't we want the leaders of the world to be people that have true inner peace? That aren't doing it because they want the power. They're doing it because they enjoy that environment, that job, that role, but they are healed within. So they're going into this place, they're doing these amazing things, but they're bringing love into the situation. They're having power with love. They're not having power because they just need the power to consume. You could take it or leave it. That is our plan. That is our mission. That is what inspires us. I believe that is what will give us the fulfillment, being that healed version. So take some time today. Write down those three things: the consumption, the actions, and then what you're giving to the world. And rate yourself. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you holding yourself accountable to those things? And can you do better? If you can, then that's where your focus should be. And when you focus to that, everything you do into that will uplift you. Even if you don't feel that immediate gratification, that immediate feel good from doing it, you're uplifting your energy. Reading positive words, enlightenment, all of those things do change you. They improve you. They raise your frequency. It may not immediately do it. You may not get instant gratification, but over time you will. Doing actions that are uplifting will make you feel better. It may take time. It may be a while before you feel the effects of it, but it'll happen. And then what you give to the world will help you feel good as well. And again, maybe not immediately, but by giving and receiving in the same energy, that will keep you in the frequency that you desire. And that's what it's ultimately all about. It's not about being happy all the time. It's not about getting what we want all the time. It's just about having inner peace. And I believe those three things will get us there. So let's work hard. Let's be the highest frequency that we can be and be the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was insightful and hopefully gave you a perspective and a focus of what you should be doing. It's really something that has come to me, and I'm still working out the ideas a little bit myself, but I wanted to put this in the message, so hopefully it hit home in a way that would inspire you, especially with 2023 right around the corner. The beginning of the year is always a time we want to make a shift, so why not start now? If you want to make sure you don't miss an episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link in the description. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below. And then if you haven't already, I did start a new Facebook group. There's a link for that. We're really talking about fitness, but those three things that I talked about right there, I'm going to start incorporating in there. It's going to be uncomfortable for me because there's going to be some things I'll be sharing that, I'm not the best at, but it's just about sharing and growing together. So feel free to check that out as well. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.